Boom! What's going on, guys? 360 Digital Closing Bell here for our week look back podcast for this gorgeous September 25th, 2020. As always, I'm your humble correspondent, Michael Taylor, joined by the executive producer of the show, the purveyor of the show, international news aficionado, and director and publisher of the world's greatest website, www.oilandgas360.com, Stuart Turley. How you doing this week?
Good morning. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood, and you got a hall pass.
Yes, this is step one of a two-step hall pass process. If you guys are interested in getting off work about 2 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, let you slip home, beat some of that traffic. Guys got to listen to this show. We'll give you a little quiz at the end. You got to answer it. And then you got to tune into the live show at 2 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Available on the world's greatest website, www.oilandgas360.com. We're live on YouTube from an undisclosed location. But this is our week look back podcast. Time stands at about 6:37 a.m. here, so oil currently trading about 39.94. And honestly, good to see considering some of the volatility we had this week. We're going to cover everything that's happened volatility-wise. We're kind of going to walk through on a day-by-day basis. Stu's going to give us some of the top headlines from the day. We'll kind of react to them. We'll move into kind of how the oil levels look. We'll cover the DOE inventories for both natural gas, which was actually a little bullish. That's why we're seeing now $2.18 gas. We'll also look at crude oil inventories, a little interesting mixed signals there. And then we'll check in with the 360 official, non-official fund. But first, guys, this show is brought to us by the world's greatest website, www.oilandgas360.com, courtesy of the publisher, Stuart Turley. Guys, I highly recommend for all of your energy, finance, technology, news. I mean, tell you, Oil and Gas 360 is the place. Stay up to date. Me and Stu curate the Oil and Gas 360 news desk, which is available. If you go to the top bar, go to 360 Energy Expert, hit the drop down, hit news desk. Bookmark that page, baby, because it's the one-stop shop to stay up to date on all of your energy finance news. We run charts. We run equity overview tables, all of the top stories from the day. We throttle everything to that 360 news desk feed. I would put that news feed up with some of the top news feeds in the country because of the way we throttle things that I absolutely love. You can check out our latest weekly long form podcast. You can always check out all the live daily shows on Entercom's YouTube channel, or you can check out the summary shows. We got how to connect with all of us on social. Email the show, mtanner@entercominc.com. Stu also runs a podcast called the Energy 360 Network, which is the place for energy thought leadership. We've had some unbelievable growth. Stu, who do you got coming up on that?
Well, I got to give a shout out to a young host of the show. We've had over about 1,000 hits on your show.
With Ron Geist?
From Liberty.
You know what they say, blind mice finds cheese once in a while.
You stumbled over that block of cheese because it's been one of our best performing ones. So
good. Good. So who else do you have coming up? I know you've got some.
Yeah, Data Gumbo that went out yesterday, and it is really cool. Data Gumbo is blockchain technology, and I absolutely love my time with Andrew Bruce, the CEO and founder. Fantastic information. We have another story coming out Monday about a loser win story out of Canada. And I've got another book here, just came in. It's called Kremlin Games. It is.
This is going to get us banned.
Oh.
Sorry, just go. Sorry, no, go ahead.
Just take a look at it. I'm going to have it read over the weekend.
That's a thing. You're going to get that read over the weekend, probably on the bike too. You're probably going to. What? You know, audiobook on the bike?
No, I'm good enough that I just pedal without having to worry about anything.
That's good. Some people have to have that background noise, but I can see you cranking out books on the audio version on the ride. And then we have some other people, right? We've got some people kind of canned. We're going to be rolling out.
Yeah, I'm working on the schedule on those, so don't want to give it too much of a shout out.
Well, that's the nice part. The schedule, we are the schedule, Stu. We get to pick and choose exactly when things drop. That's the beauty of being the publisher. You're in charge. Anything else? I mean, we live on YouTube every day. Any of the shows. Follow us on LinkedIn, Twitter, all of the socials at OAG360.
Hey, I want to give out a shout out to Abe, the American Association of Black Energy.
Yes, the American Association of Blacks in Energy. Love those people. They're a
Oh,
good friend of the show.
fabulous. She launched her podcast this week, and we are just really excited about it. We're going to run a little story on it today, and we just encourage everybody to go check out Abe and Paula's podcast. There'll be more information on that. Outstanding people.
Yeah, no, it's good stuff. I've heard the person who's producing that podcast is pretty sweet too, so I'd highly recommend checking that out. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, wherever you get your podcasts. Where you can find this podcast. It's available on the 360 digital closing movie. I know people have been expecting the Daily Show. We've had sound issues all week, people. So I'm taking this week off from posting the Closing Bell podcast live every day to the 360 digital closing movie. Honestly, just because these sound issues, I wanted to slam my head into an ice pick. We've done hours of testing. It works on the testing, and then we dive into the live show. I'm telling you, it's China. It's China or Russia bots. No, I'm just kidding. It's probably neither of those. You know what it is? It's probably user error. But we'll figure that out as we work through. So we'll get back on dropping the everyday show on the podcast Monday. You can also find us on the Oil and Gas Show. We're excited to be on this week. We're kind of revamping the way this is going to look. So you might be seeing some visual changes if you subscribe to us through there. We really appreciate it, guys. Just rate, review, subscribe on whatever channel you're listening to us. Do whatever makes the algorithms go to us. We get over 100 reviews on the Oil and Gas Show podcast. I will get apps. I will commit to getting apps.
I'll tell you what, it's kind of fun. Google loves you.
I just watched The Social Dilemma last night, and I don't know if that's really a good thing, though.
What do you mean?
Oh, you haven't watched The Social Dilemma on Netflix, Stu?
Oh, no.
Oh, we might have to wind this podcast down early. You might need to go watch it. We might need then to sit back down, cut this together, and give me your thoughts. Holy smokes, Stu. That's your job tonight, is watch The Social Dilemma, and we'll cover it on the Monday's podcast. Sorry, continue.
Hey, that's okay. But the algorithms that we're doing, our team is doing phenomenal. We got some heck of a Google ratings on everything going on. We can publish out your story, and it's up on the #1 Google search engine for oil news almost every day.
That's all thanks to you. I've got nothing to do with that. But I think that's enough self-love. I mean, we spent 8 minutes stroking ourselves off. I think we should probably move into what happened this week. It was a choppy week in both the equities market and the oil markets. I think I told Stu this yesterday randomly. It would have been a great week to be a day trader. The volatility and the levels that were getting hit specifically on the ES side, which is, full disclosure, I know we're a crude oil show here, but I trade more S&P and NASDAQ futures than I do oil futures. If you're in I want to say in the business, I'm not really in the business, but if you're in that trading community, crude oil is known as Crudella, Stu. Man, she's salty, and she will get you. She is salty. So I stick to some of the more technical stuff. I mean, Dow Jones futures had some really nice levels. So if you're an equities trader, specifically on that future side, man, you had some good movement. But when we kind of just dive into what happened Monday, markets opened pretty gap down. I mean, we had as you know, the markets, we had 2 days coming into this week that were down Thursday and Friday of last week. We saw gap open down of about, oh, yikes. Let's see, what do we have here? We're talking like 70 points, Stu, which is not good. Choppy Monday day if you're in the equities. On crude oil side, Monday was pit opened. So, as you know, for futures, the pit opens for the week 4 p.m. Mountain Standard Time on Sunday. So how I run my days are I leave out the overnight session. I draw my day one line at the pit open, which is 7:30 Mountain Standard Time, because that's really when the most liquidity starts happening. And so when we look at the pit open on Monday, Stu, holy smokes, we got driven down. We were trading that overnight session around $41. We saw an absolute nosedive below 39. It actually hit the low of the week at 38. What is it, like 38? Like 38.87. It's a matter of 4 or 5 hours, Stu. You saw over a $2 swing in the price of oil. I mean, it was point of control was up at 41.36 before that happened. So you want to talk about tumble off the table. And that really led to kind of a down All right, down Monday, there was some interesting news that happened. Stu, what are some of the top stories that happened that day?
On the 21st.
Yeah.
Yeah, boy, it was interesting on that. Um, the Shell you had on here, Shell was cutting U.S. jobs.
Yeah, that's 30 to 40%, right?
Oh, it was horrible. I mean, that's a beating, but that's leading into Shell and BP's total morphing that they're going through, and that is divesting themselves of oil assets and going into the green energy space.
Yeah,
And,
it's interesting. It's the international oil majors that are making this move.
oh,
It'll be interesting to see when a Chevron and Exxon decide to make this move, because that's more, I think, representative of what the U.S. oil patch looks like from a holistic standpoint, not necessarily, you know what I mean? I mean, right now, in the publisher's note, we ran Eni, BP, and Shell all migrating. What do they all have in common? Well, not headquartered here.
no. And, and finishing out that publisher's note, it says the consumers will be the one hurt by their own demand on this. So that one's an article called Shell Launches Major Cutting Drives. It'll be in the show notes.
Is this Project Reshape? Yes, this is Project Reshape.
Yes, they are.
So they dubbed this. To kind of give you the headline, Royal Dutch Shell is looking to slash up to 40% of its cost of producing oil and gas in a major drive to save cash. And the internal cost-cutting review known as Project Reshape.
Oh yeah, Project.
All the bills.
Shell's overall operating costs are $38 billion and capital spending $24 billion.
And they're not advertising on the show. Shame on you, Shell.
Oh, they're so missing the boat. We could really help them with their ESG opinions of people. Their marketing department needs to rename their programs that they have. I thought it was interesting that Goldman Sachs stuck to its forecast for Brent to $49 a barrel and 65 barrels by quarter next year.
Wait, $65 quarter what?
Third quarter next year.
65?
65.
Yeah. No. Wrong. 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 But go ahead, Goldman. Continue. Sorry.
And there's another development that feeds all into this circle here of life, according to the Lion King, and that is Libya. They say that even that takes care of the Libyan development, that Turkey is coming in as an EMP and just blowing past the OPEC items and everything else. So this whole Shell article was a really full of good nuggets. So
it was brutal. I see something else. Oxy's now paying cash to Buffett. What's this all about?
With let's see, if Jesse James, the motorcycle, absolute loved his shows a while ago. Yep. Builds custom motorcycles, and he has a tattoo on his hands, "Pay up, sucker." And that is, he had to go play Guido and get people to pay. Warren Buffett wants his money. He's not going to take an IOU anymore. So if you don't,
he's been getting paid in stock. So I mean, it's been what? When did this close? 2019.
Yeah.
Early mid July 2019.
Yeah. So we're comparing Warren Buffett to Jesse James.
Well, he's had 3 quarters of about, I think it's 800 million. In quarterly, I mean, that's a pretty good quarterly check. It's a pretty good quarterly check he gets. And the last 2 quarters, they paid him in stock, which if you're getting paid in Oxy stock, it's about equivalent to Shroot bucks at this point. So you're losing money each day getting more. So he's finally like, yo, I want cash. And so if you read the article, this is why I love me a good Reuters article. It's a sign of the financial strength of Oxy. They can pay him in cash. Yeah, no. That was a conversation where Buffett and Munger got on the phone like, yo, pay me my money.
Yeah.
In cash now. That's not a sign of financial, in my view. I mean, I could be off base on this one, but that's one where the headline I don't think matches up reality.
No. Going to the next part of this whole thing that feeds in together on the 21st, you just fell apart laughing on the Club Med acronym that we had. There's a Mid-East forum taking shape, and it's all the folks in the Mediterranean over this. We've been covering this dramatic play going on out there, except they're excluding Turkey and Libya and a few of the other folks. So it's kind of humorous when you sit back and take it. Egypt has two liquefied plants that are idle and are trying to get in this. So it's Egyptian, Cyprus, and France, and they're all trying to get all in this. The official ministers are Egypt, Israel, Greece, and Cyprus, Jordan, and the Palestinian Authority, and that's called the Club Med. So I just think it's kind of funny. It's officially called the East Mediterranean Gas Forum, and all this is playing around because the Leviathan field, and it plays into the Noble
Chevron acquisition, because that's one of the contentious fields that Elliott Management thinks is worth maybe a little bit more than what Noble sold for to Chevron.
So if you're a regular listener to our show,
first off, God help you. Second off, thank you. We appreciate it.
We love you. But this is I'm going to have to write a white paper on this, because this is most people are not picking up the intertwined story of everything going on in this area. This is connected to this, that's connected to this, and people are not dotting the lines like we are. It's just amazing stories that are going out there. So I think
I think that covers it. Before we move on to Tuesday, I'd be remiss if we didn't have a Chapter 11 bankruptcy update. My favorite CO2 flooding company, Denbury Resources, recapitalized, completed its refinancial structure, and is now Denbury Inc. Shares opened Monday at $25. Immediately we're trading. Immediately then limit down $15, and now currently trading around $18-19. So, I mean, obviously some value loss. It was sort of funny though. I read the press release. They had 3 months to figure out how they were going to improve their stock position, improve how investors felt about them. They come back with the same assets, the same management team, the same strategy. And I don't know. I don't know about that one.
You always say, what's wrong with this picture?
Yeah, it's just, what's wrong? Nothing's changed since pre-post bankruptcy looks the same. I wonder what's going to happen.
You remember, is it Leslie Nielsen, when he's in one of his shows, he's walking by and everything's blowing up behind him, and nothing to see here.
Yeah. There's nothing to see here. I'll start writing the Chapter 22 paperwork so that when you guys, so in a year and a half, you guys can just call me, save you guys some time. I'll charge you a little friends and family discount.
There you go. So are we moving on to?
Yeah, let's move into Tuesday. I mean, really, Tuesday was one of the, first on the oil side, absolutely nothing happened. There was just very little news other than, I would say some really volatile trading stuff. Equities really were reacting to Fed Chairman Jerome Powell continuing to reiterate that the Fed is going to continue to support the economy, aka pump it with cash. So, if you're a larger institution, you're a mid-range bank out there, you're going to see money continue to flow in. I mean, not that this is a great, not that this affects oil and gas too much, but hey, I mean, the more money that's out there is trading around. Prices stayed on the oil side fairly flat. API came out and expected a little more of a a draw than we ended up seeing on Wednesday, which is kind of why you saw on Wednesday that the pit price ended up falling. We also saw very interesting U.S. mileage data, so just giving you an idea of how many off people are driving. Lowest levels of mileage usage since July 2012, which is absolutely brutal. Chief global market strategist at Axie said many oil traders are subscribing to the dominant macro narrative that as far as the oil price recovery is concerned, last week's top might be, and this is, he says, as good as it, it's good. This might be as good as it gets for a while when mapping oil prices tangentially to rebound in economic activity. You know what that means, Stu? They think 42 is the top. They think this is where we're going to be for a while. And these are what people are trading as. Goldman Sachs, think whatever you want, baby.
I'm afraid to pull the amazing Kreskin. I put that genie back in the bottle. I got burned by them.
You were too accurate. Yeah, on the U.S. shale side, it was really nothing. We saw Matador come out and say they completed 4 wells. Yeah, that should be good. Go read that press release. That was fun. I'm not an engineer, but it just read scummy. It read like someone presenting at an investor conference, and they showed me a well log. Like, bro, I don't really care. I can't read this. It was a trip. It was a trip. Stu, what was on the international news desk that day?
On the 22nd, we had BP week the week before, and this falls right into BP, Exxon, all of the majors morphing. And I've never seen a morph like this in an industry ever before. And they terminated a deep sea Aberdeen contract. And it is actually a drilling rig, an offshore rig that is just absolutely huge. I almost wonder how much they paid to get out of this thing. And these things have hundreds of thousands of dollars of rent per day. And if they're willing to buy their way out of that contract, holy smokes, they're killing it. Now, you and I also talked about that there are several places in the world that they are going to keep. And we're going to have a show on.
Well, tell them, what are those places?
Well, it's like Nigeria, and it's the
North Sea,
and
it's Gulf of Mexico. Well, I wonder why. Profitable oil.
Guess what? It ain't on land, so it's kind of interesting. And later on in the week, they had a discussion about the majors. That's later in the week, but it was followed up with this same subject. There's 293 countries that the majors are in, and they're exiting 200 of those. So they'll only be in about 93 countries. So pick your favorite countries and find out which ones are politically stable to be investing in.
Yeah, I mean, that's good advice, actually. That's great advice. What else happened? I'm seeing Australia is doing 13 billion in energy tech.
Yeah, energy tech, and I kind of misled our listeners on that just a little bit on the day because I said it was solar and wind and technology. It is in the sense that this technology is for batteries and storage, and so it has got to support those industries. Right now, as we're seeing in California and everywhere else, it's absolutely worthless to have 30% of your power generated by solar and wind, which, we love renewables as long as it's the lowest kilowatt per hour. I'm
on 100% renewable grid here.
Are you really? 100% renewable.
Sorry, my power just went out. I had to go get on my bike to spin it up. Yeah, 100% renewable. I'm just kidding, Stu. I got power over you. Craig, are you there?
Hello, McFly.
Oh, McFly? No, I was just joking. My power. I just killed my camera. My power went out. I don't have any. No, it's no, I'm not 100% renewable. I don't think I even have solar panels on this thing. I'm living in like a 1970s house up in the Highlands in Denver. There ain't no renewables in sight.
No, and that's one of the funny things about technology coming around the corner are mini grids. and some of their mini grids are actually natural gas power plants for the house. The marketing people are spending this crud like you wouldn't believe. Anyway,
I
moving
just
on.
think what we need to do is breed mice to run fast on wheels, on hamster wheels, and we'll just have a grid powered by hamster wheels. That's what that's my solution to the energy. We'll just get these jacked hamsters to just run, and they'll just run marathons on these things. I think it'd be sweet.
I'd rather have politicians being chased by tigers.
Okay. All right.
I don't care what political persuasion you are. I just want them to be chased by tigers.
The Roman Coliseum, and you just got average people in the stands, and now all of a sudden you just see Mitch McConnell running out there, and there's this tiger sprinting out after him. Oh, that kills
I don't
me.
care. I'm so tired of politics. Whichever.
You kill me. I think with that we got to move on.
Okay.
Anything else happened that day?
Oh no, and nothing worth talking about.
Good, because finally on Wednesday, Stu, the markets turned positive. We had 4 straight negative days. I was tired of seeing red on the board all day. And yes, we finally get an okay day on the markets. Major percentages. Sorry, excuse me. We're talking third. Yeah, excuse me. So Wednesday we saw, so not good on the day, at least for the overall equities market. Excuse me, I was looking at the wrong day. Forgive me, people. I'm getting my charts wrong. The 4-day session streak is snapped on Thursday, not Wednesday. So we had Friday was bad, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday were pretty bad as we move into Monday and Tuesday workers. We move into Thursday. Absolute not good. Dow Jones was down 367 points. S&P was down over 1.5 percentage points. This was, speaking of battery day, this was actually battery day for Tesla. It was sort of funny. This is almost like their Apple day, where they reveal all their new products. They reveal all what their plans for the futures. They give an update on when their delivery dates are going to be. At the end of the market, Stu, shares of Tesla were trading down over 9%. So you can tell how investors feel about some of the tangible news that comes. I know we've seen Tesla an absolute run up in the stock price, but it's kind of funny. They actually provide tangible news, and their stock tanks.
Well, there's a little bit of funniness to that, and I have to admire Tesla. And the funny thing is that was the same day that Governor Amadope out of California signed the bill and said that he wants all combustion engines out of California.
Oh, we'll get to that. Don't worry. We'll get to that here. We'll get to that.
But Tesla is heading to Texas and getting out of California as well, too. The battery day for Tesla actually shows that he is trying with his cars. They are too expensive. $100,000. I believe you even talked about this $100,000 car. Who can afford it? For a
Tesla's, I don't think it's 100. Let's find out. You can find the price online. Continue.
But by the time you do the batteries and everything else, the life expectancy of the battery, the children that are working on all the precious minerals in Africa, I mean, it's a horrible kind of thing on the batteries. So he's trying to change the technology on the batteries, targeting 24K for a battery system for an electric car. Pretty darn smart. So I got to hand it to Tesla to change the technology when he's not waiting on other people. He is filling his own supply line.
Yeah, 65,000 for a new Model S.
Right. But the battery portion of that is upwards of 35K. So he's wanting to reduce his battery portions. That goes in with a story that we ran 3 weeks ago with China building a battery recycling plant with Tesla. Okay, that adds some CO2 to them batteries as they get hauled over to China to get recycled. You know what recycling in China means?
I'm going to get myself in trouble if I answer, so no.
Pushing them into Tibet.
I was going to say throwing them in the ocean, but that works too.
Pushing
So
them
I shouldn't order this Tesla for you. I'm working through right now.
I believe that Tesla may be on it eventually, but
Well, I think whether they become fully electric or they become some renewable natural gas power, I think what he's onto is the driverless, the AI software that basically drives the car for you. I mean, that's some rock solid stuff right there. And that's what I think is a lot of the IP behind Tesla. Do I think the all electric will be? I don't know. Maybe. I could see these things running off renewable natural gas in 10 years.
I would buy a self-driving car in about 2.5 seconds when I'm driving through traffic and I see my wife putting on her makeup, a cell phone in her ear, and driving with her knees. Heck yes, I would buy one because I don't want a liability of my wife putting makeup on in traffic.
Yeah, there you go. Do it for the makeup. All right, let's talk about this California, because that was kind of the biggest thing that happened on Wednesday. I think it was two things. One, 2/3 U.S. oil executives think peak oil has passed. Good one. California comes out and pass a new law requiring that all new cars by 2035 are zero emission sold, new cars. So it's going to do a couple things. One, it's going to be a nice if you're a used car dealer and know how to work on gasoline-powered cars, holy smokes, you are going to have a job in California for a while because people are going to pay big bucks to keep their gasoline-powered car up and running so they don't have to go buy as we just saw, really expensive electric car. Now, 2035, they might come down. I also pledged on the closing bell that day, so I will get abs by 2030. If we don't hit the 100 reviews before 2035, I will get on California's schedule and get abs by then as
well. I've got an ab right now. It's called a 1-pack.
It's just sitting on ice. So
no,
it's just this is another example of just a little too much regulation and it would be nice to clean up the environment, but the execution of that is wrong. The sentiment could be right. Hey, they want to reduce emissions in the United States. It's a noble cause, but I think there is the way to go about that, banning, or not banning, but requiring zero emission cars to be sold by 2030. I don't know. Maybe I don't think so. Some people, obviously, California thinks differently. So, good thing I don't live there.
You got to have a balanced power diet. They don't. 30% of their power is renewable. It is unstable. They don't have the storage. They are killing their nukes. They are killing their natural gas, blah, blah, blah. They're stupid. They have not managed their power, and they're going to put a strain on the electrical system with cars.
Can we get that on a T-shirt? Blah, blah, blah. They're stupid. I want that on a T-shirt, along with "It's a Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood." Sorry, that was just
blah, blah, blah. They're stupid.
It's what they sometimes sound like. Other thing that happened on Wednesday, DOE crude oil inventories, courtesy of EIA and Entercom Analytics, Cushing crude stocks did total Cushing crude stocks did spike a little bit, which is okay. They're still below their moving average. About 50 million barrels currently in that tank on average. We're about 47 right now. Total U.S. stocks did drop by about 1.6 million barrels. Weekly production dropped off by 200,000 barrels down to 10.7 million. Recent average U.S. gas price $2.17. I'm starting to see that out here in Colorado, which is good to see. Refining utilization continues to move up. 74.8 percentage points was great, Sammy. We were seeing high 60s earlier. Hopefully see that number above 75. Again, total U.S. stocks currently about 494.41 million. U.S. production currently 10.7. That's a little high, I think. I think we're going to probably see that bad boy rise a little more. I think it'll probably settle on 11.3 million barrels. Hopefully next week. It'll be interesting to see how much of that production continue to come back on. None of it was really shut down due to this last tropical storm Beta. So some of this production all the way back from Hurricane Laura. We've got to go 2 hurricanes back now. to see some of this production still coming back online. So I think that number is going to be maybe a little spike next week. I think, that 200,000, I think was a reflection of the stuff that didn't come online from Sally and some of it that came offline your bit. I expect to see that reversed as we move into Wednesday. What was on the international news desk that day?
More morphing by the majors. Rystad put out some interesting numbers. You and I talked about the geographical spread of Exxon, BP, Shell, Total, Eni, and Chevron, and ConocoPhillips and Equinor.
Yep.
They are going to divest a combined resources up to 68 billion barrels of oil equivalent. Unbelievable, at a value of 111 billion, with spending commitments of 2021 and 20 billion. What's a few billion between friends?
Yeah, let's just they should all just advertise this deal on Oil and Gas 360. We'll take a small fee.
The Indonesia, with all of them are pigpiling almost in the same groups. The article also talks about acquiring the ConocoPhillips would acquire the Indonesian portfolios. They're all going to be trading and getting their assets out so they can show their stockholders that they're greenies. Like the
bold strategy, Cotton. We'll see how that one plays out.
Chevron is doing the least amount of this, and I'm going to put my money on Chevron.
Okay.
They are doing some, but they're going to be the ones to watch. They're the dark horse out, not the dark horse, but they're the only one standing out in the corner. They're like me when the dodgeball games were all being picked. I'm the dope in the corner. For instance, BP, I'm just going to read you this one part. For instance, BP could swap its position in Algeria for Eni's holdings in Australia. All right, I'm starting to do some math on these assets, and it's not adding up. BP's Algeria portfolio is valued around 320 million. This is almost like a game of, was it the pea under the cup? Where you're shuffling the cups around and trying to find the pea.
Oh, I see, the Shell game.
Shell game, thank you. And then another example is Shell swapping its assets in Norway for Total's portfolio in Oman. Good grief. Okay.
It's like a game of Risk.
No, this is a game of like, I want your wife. I mean, this is just ridiculous. Sorry, this is Bathsheba out of the Bible. All right.
Another thing I forgot. This is I hate covering all the majors. I love them, but they get too much coverage. I could really care less about Chevron does. They operate in a different stratosphere than the rest of these companies. Finally, some U.S. shale patch news that we all enjoy. Extraction had some filings that dropped. I don't know if it was Wednesday, Tuesday night. A site called debtwire.com. Tough to find some stuff because you talk about paywall. Woohoo! I did see some stuff, though. They've submitted a couple different plans for their Chapter 11 restructuring. One of them is an acquisition/merger plan with a couple different suitors. And the only suitor I was able to verify that actually submitted an offer was High Point Resources, another Colorado DJ-based player. Love their website, by the way. Go check it out. It's pretty good.
I hear somebody pretty cool did it.
Yeah, I agree. And so that's one of the confirmed buyers. A couple other buyers out there, and those are full acquisitions, not we'd call it a merger. The other one is a complete recapitalization and what I would say flipping around, brand change. I mean, they're going to emerge. Denbury just decided to drop Resources and change it to Inc. Ooh, wow, that's going to really get me invested here. So we'll see what Extraction decides to do. Hopefully they try to extract some value out of this company and change their name. Got someone who can help you guys with that.
Yeah, they paid $1.50 for their marketing person to add Inc, right?
Yeah, they're using Fiverr to find their marketing people. So that's about the most interesting shale patch thing that happens. It'll be interesting to see what happens with extraction. There's some other deals that are being sniffed around there. Nothing that we can really, I don't know, confirm, talk about here on the show. So let's kind of go ahead and move into Thursday. Yesterday was, Thursday chop. This was actually the day I mentioned this to, man, I should have day traded because it was, we were up 300 points, down 200 points, finishing about 40 points. 800. Sorry. Excuse me. That's like an 800-point swing. So, you want to talk about different levels to hit. Indices overall ended lower. So, we had a nice little indices lower. So, hopefully we can see some of this price rise today. First time U.S. jobs state unemployment benefits totaled 870,000 for the week ended September 19th, higher than the Dow Jones estimate of about 850,000. So that, again, a little reason why they're trying. Oil prices stayed fairly flat. They were through the mid-30s throughout the session, trading like 40, 22 around about 150 when that pit closed. Natural gas were up about 2.5 or 2.8 percentage points off the back of stocks moderately rising due to Bloomberg and Intercom Analytics data. So to give you an idea, guys, stocks were up 66 billion cubic feet, which is a little bit high for this time. We're entering draw season. Last week we saw unusual 89 billion cubic barrel build. Now what we're seeing is 60. Is hopefully that numbers continue to fall, and as long as it does, it's going to continue to support gas price. Currently gas price is still $2.21, so not great. I keep hearing $3.50 gas. I don't know, Stu. I don't know, but hopefully I'm wrong. Hopefully I am wrong. What happened on the news desk that day?
I had some real entertainment. I got a really sick sense of humor. But China's president came out and said China's national security and carbon neutral plans were actually announced the day before, and then they had a nice John Kemp had a nice summary article of everything that's in there.
You're a Jack Kemp fan. We got to get that guy on the show.
He's good point. I'll call him today. China was a net importer of coal, oil, and gas in 2018. And to let our listeners know what exactly all this is the day before, the Chinese said, we're going to be we're going to maximize or peak our pollution in carbon production in 2030. All right. Then we're going to be carbon neutral in 2060. I put on here, I need to see some meat on that bone. Their announcement was absolutely like one of my high school papers, devoid of any material or plans. This is like writing, as we said, a check to your ex-wife that is going to bounce. There's nothing there. You're going to have a one-pack before they're the biggest polluter in the planet. And their promise, and then everybody in the world was giving them the golf clap. Oh, China, we love you. You're doing great. You're going to get the Nobel Peace Prize.
Yeah, I'm pledging to reach peak weight in 2030. So I'll probably peak at about 400 pounds, and then I'll kind of slim off and get that six-pack by then. Because that's what they're saying, right? We're going to peak. We're peaking.
Yeah, you're peaking.
And then we're slimming down. I like it.
Oh, unbelievable. I wish that I could have that kind of thing to tell the IRS. I'm going to really peak out on all my payments to you in 2030. I'm not going to pay you a thing till then. And then I'll maximize all my back payments in 2060. And then I'll become a French citizen right before that. Go figure. I'd like to have that kind of run. The next one was a satellite picked up a oil spot off of the tanker in Yemen. And we talked about this last night on the show. And the poor people of Yemen do not deserve this. This tanker has been sitting there for 5 years. God bless the Saudis. They are absolutely going nuts to try to get this derelict tanker that is spilling oil fixed. The UN is sitting there with their finger in their ear for 5 years, and they've known about it, and they won't do a thing. It is now broken off its mooring, and it is a disaster that's going to be 4 times worse than the Exxon Valdez. And it makes my heart sick for the.
Yeah, it's brutal. It's.
I am so disappointed. Last night you teased because I kind of let it out in a very, very big secret that I'm not a fan of the UN. They need to be tossed out of the U.S. Next thing is they're not doing their job. Why are we paying their bill when they're about to support the biggest natural disaster in oil and gas history that is going to give our beloved oil and gas and energy market a black eye, and more importantly, it's for the humanity, the poor folk. I don't care. You're a human, and you don't deserve this. Sorry.
Oh, this is just breaking across the Bloomberg terminal here. President Trump announces Stuart Turley, new ambassador, U.S. ambassador to the UN.
I wouldn't pass the background check.
That's probably why you get the job. So, hey, we're wide open. Stu's available, and I can take over the website if necessary.
Oh, absolutely. And Michael, you absolutely cracked me up because I said if it doesn't walk like a duck or doesn't quack like a duck because it doesn't quack because it's covered in oil. We had a fun closing bill. So I highly recommend checking out live on Intercom's YouTube channel. I think it's like www.youtube.com/user/intercom/live. It's where we go every day, 2 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Yeah, I mean, it was an international and an oil majors week this week, which between me and you, Stu, I hate. I'm a new school, small time U.S. shale guy. Love me that extraction story. Love me those politics going along in there. Love me some of the energy tech stuff that we have going on. We are rolling heavily into earnings season here. And I think that's kind of what I would say calm before the storm. And this week, as you know, this focus was on international and majors this week. We're about to shift heavy into quarter 3 earnings calls. Woohoo! But the sources I have, I told you on Monday that it's going to get worse next week, and buckle up.
Yay. Just what I want to know. All right, let's go ahead and move in to the levels for oil. As always, guys, this segment is sponsored by Sandstone Capital Group. These guys do great research. You can check out everything of theirs, sandstonecg.com. Call them 303-907-6825. Remember, the podcast sent you. We don't get any credit if you don't say that. Look at the levels for the week. I mean, it was choppy week if you were trading oil and gas. If you're trading oil, good luck this week, man. It was low level. We're talking 38.72 is probably the floor, but really on the upside it was choppy. I would say our next closest level on the downside is going to be somewhere around that 39.20 level. I think it's a good upside level. Point of control for the week's 39.80. We see nice volume bench at the upside, 39.93. 40.17 is a good level. 40.62 is probably where our top is now. Could we see somewhere in the 40.80 range, maybe 41, maybe? But I've seen the fundamentals do not show me all of that. On the natural gas side, it was down, it was up. I mean, it was a wild day. I mean, he was talking about teacup action today. We saw down to, we started the week. Really started. We started the week around $2 even, down all the way to $1.80. Now driving itself all the way back up to $2.20. So it gives you an idea how volatile natural gas is. Don't day trade this. Don't pretend you're smart enough to do stuff like this. You don't pay enough money for those weather models. Trust me, I've looked into it. They're more than a Bloomberg terminal. So go get yourself. If you're thinking of getting a weather model, just get a Bloomberg terminal. It'll be more interesting for you. But I do see the 12-month strip does not look good, Stu. You throw nat gas on a forward curve. I don't see this. I don't see the same story all of these big boys, Rystad and Varus, BT. I don't see what they're seeing, and hey, that's probably why I'm doing this, and I'm not working for them. It's why they're trusted, and I'm not. But I every week goes by, Stu. I'm waiting for something to change fundamentally. It hasn't. It's October, Stu.
Don't go work for them because I'm going with you.
Yeah, I'm not. Trust me, I ain't gonna go work big corporate. You ain't gonna come out work at corporate, Stu. You think this works at a corporate office?
No, we're having too much fun.
We're having way too much fun. As we mentioned, DOE inventory. You check all of the inventory numbers out at the world's greatest website, oilandgas360.com /dashboards /oil-and-gas-inventories Seriously, we have it in the show notes. Check it all out. As I mentioned, about 1.6 million crude oil inventory dropped to 494 million barrels. Recent gas prices $2.17. Final utilization 74.8 percentage point. U.S. steel production down 200,000 barrels, 10.7 million barrels. That was updated about 10:30 there on Wednesday. DOE natural gas inventories. About the most interesting thing you're seeing is that 66 total BCF net change in U.S. natural gas stocks. A little higher, we like to see draws, but hey, we'll take what we can get at this point. Those drop at about 9 o'clock now standard time every single Thursday. As we know, VIGs dropped. If you're an Inveris subscriber, and since people always wonder this, well, I see S&P wrote an article on Thursday night telling me rig counts. Why can't I see them until Friday at 11? Well, you're common folk like us. So if Baker Hughes was originally set up the rig count, they were in charge of counting rig counts. And not in charge, they just had the most access to information. They were doing a lot of the work. They're a service company. It makes sense. They know that number. Well, as data and companies get bigger, they offloaded that process to Inveris. And so what Inveris does is they release to their subscribers Thursday midday rig counts. But if you're an average person like Stu and I, which still annoys me. I mean, we've had Inveris on the show 9 times. They can't just throw us a DI license. I mean, trust me, I worked in SaaS, Stu. I know how easy it is to deploy credentials.
All right. Besides giving you a defibrillator, I'm going to call Alan over there, the founder, and see what we can.
I'm mostly kidding, but I'm also not. So,
No,
but that's the discrepancy. Because people always tell me, hey, why do I see this in an article on Thursday night, but I can't pull out figures? Well, you got to be an Inveris subscriber, and I give them credit. It's a good marketing tool for them. So if we're going off, I actually got to pull the numbers up here because it was a big number. If I remember, we were up 15 rigs, Stu, to 308, which is the first time we've seen 300 plus rigs since COVID hit. Correct?
That is correct.
Unbelievable. I posted on the article that you can find the Oil and Gas 360 published so you can know a little overview of what that is. Yeah, I mean, look at this. 15 rig count increase, 308 week ending for September 23rd, largest weekly gain in more than 6 months. Woo! Permian rig counts, they accounted for 7, increasing to a total of 135, highest in West Texas since late July. Eagle Ford gained 3 rigs.
Hey, Michael, we will have to double check because we ran a story 3 weeks ago about an Argentinian firm who was going to drill 111 wells by the end of the year. I wonder if any of those were them.
Yeah, I wonder. We can go in and check. If we had our DI license, I could let you know, but we don't. So we'll just have to go off the article. No, I'm just kidding, but I'm also not really. What else we got here? I'm just trying to kind of skim here. See, here we go. See, this is a number I can get behind. Platts Analytics projects WTI oil prices for next year average 40.70 with Q1 averaging 37 and Q4 at 44. That's legit numbers. What is this? $65 a barrel by Goldman Sachs? You know why they're saying that? So they can do SEC, so they can take clients from Netherlands Sewell and do SEC reporting. That's why they're coming out with that number. You just want to throw it out there?
I would agree with them because
they companies too. Who's hiring? Someone tells you SEC strip pricing is going to be 65 or 45.
Oh, 45 and or even
65.
tough.
No, you're doing this because trust me, you want to produce investor slide decks at 65
You
strip.
kept cutting out. What did you say?
No, I'm going off because this is something that is just. So you've got what bothers me about Goldman Sachs and these non-specific oil and gas analytics companies coming out and giving me their oil price of 65. They're not doing that because they actually think oil's going to be 65. Do you know why they're doing that, Stu? They're doing that because they're trying to take clients from our favorite people, Netherlands Sewell. Because if you're an oil and gas executive, how do you want your reserves stated? Do you want them using SEC pricing, which is $65 strip? Or do you want someone like Netherlands Sewell to say, well, guys, we have to kind of look at what you're selling it for. Yes, SEC strip pricing is $52, but the moment you produce that barrel of $55 oil in the ground, you sell it for 40.
Well, the Netherlands Sewell folks must be listening to our show because OPEC is really mad at OPEC Plus. Club Med is now getting involved with everything, and you take a look at all the countries that are overproducing against the quotas put out by OPEC. All that adds up is to a lower
price. Are you breaking on this podcast that OPEC Plus and some OPEC members were cheating on oil production cuts?
And I also,
who would have guessed? You were just breaking news left and right.
Breaking news also is that OPEC rolled up its newspaper and smacked OPEC Plus around like a puppy. Because they're wanting to get rid of them. OPEC has lost a lot of power in pricing. So the disparage, the unlawful, also against sanctions. All of this mess is keeping the production low, production price low. The pricing mechanisms are messed up over the world.
Well, because everybody's got an angle. Everyone's got an angle. Goldman Sachs has got an angle with telling you oil's going to be $65.
They're not listening.
They want clients. They want clients.
Yeah, they're not listening to our show, Michael.
No, they don't really care. But you should, if you are listening, you should advertise. We'll help you with your pricing models. So I'm looking at the time here. We're over an hour. So are we missing anything here?
Yeah, real quick, 2 seconds.
OPEC, 1, 2. All right, we're just kidding.
Click. OPEC is running their yearly forecast for next year on October 8th. And I've ordered the media kit ahead of time so that we can try to get in there. And I'll let you know if they call us to moderate it.
Yeah, let me know that. We've already done a couple OPEC Plus Zoom moderations. It's pretty easy to just have us go back and do that again. I don't have anything more. So I think we should go ahead and wrap up part 1 of a 2-day or a 2-step hall pass process. Cue the music. Thank you guys for checking out Oil and Gas 360, the 360 Digital Closing Bell, the iTunes, available on iTunes, Spotify, YouTube. Also available on The Oil and Gas Show. For Stuart Turley, I'm Michael Tanner, and the entire Oil and Gas team. We will see you this afternoon for our final hall pass and the digital ticker.